Hi, it's Jonathan Kiddish from Aquaponics NYC. We're up in Woodstock completing our aquaponics build up here. And in today's video, we're going to cover the plumbing from our fish tank up into our grow beds. So we're going to start off by talking about the pump and all the different issues you need to think about when getting a pump. So for this build, I'm using the EcoPlus 396 pump. For my previous build, I used the EcoPlus 185, but that was for a 27-gallon tank. This is a 100-gallon tank, so I'm using the EcoPlus 396. 396 is how many gallons the pump can pump at the surface of the tank. So as you may know, pumps have to fight gravity to pump the water up the hill. And these performance curves demonstrate the volume of water a pump can pump at certain heights. Our pump is the EcoPlus 396, which is represented by the orange line. So on the left-hand side, you can see what the maximum height the pump can pump any water. That's 6.5 feet or 2 meters. And on the bottom, you can see the maximum volume a pump can pump. So in this case, for the 396, it's 396 gallons. The orange line represents the performance curve for the 396 pump. So in our application, we're pumping from the fish tank up into the grow bed, but really you need to think of it as the top of the water to where the pipes exit on top of the grow bed. So in our application, it's about 2 feet. So if I look at this performance curve, I can see that at around 2 feet, I'll be able to pump around 260 gallons of water per hour. In aquaponics, it's a general rule of thumb to pump the volume of your fish tank at least once per hour. So here I can see 263 gallons is going to be enough to turn over the entire volume of my system at least once per hour, and that'll keep all the living things in it quite happy. So let's unbox our pump. You get this nifty bag of fittings and the pump, of course, and that's pretty much it. So inside the bag of fittings, you'll find a Venturi fitting, which is quite useful, and you can click on my video here to see how I will incorporate that in the system. We also get what's called a barbed fitting, which I use to attach a 1/2-inch vinyl tube. So the vinyl tube is attached to the barb fitting on top of the pump. That's where the water comes out. And that will lead to the riser, which then leads to a T, which sends some of the water up to the grow beds, but can also redirect water through this ball valve back to the fish tank. This way we can regulate the pressure going up to the grow beds so we can control the flow. Here's a little trick that I discovered. You can take the vinyl tube and fit it inside of the PVC pipe. That's 1/2-inch PVC pipe. That leads up to the T and to the ball valve and the return back to the tank, as I described before. Using the Venturi fitting, you can actually return bubbles back to the tank for aeration. And again, you use the ball valve to control the pressure going up to the grow bed. So let's go ahead and install this bad boy. So you may have noticed that I haven't used any PVC glue on any of the parts. The primary reason is because I am not concerned about it leaking. Since the grow beds are right on top of the fish tank, any water will drop down to the fish tank. So here I have a workaround. The 1/2-inch PVC pipe is wider than the drawer slides, so I need to use the vinyl tubing to make the workaround. I use the same technique, fitting the tube inside of the pipe. There's a good look of it. Pretty snug. I also use the leftover Durascrim as good strapping. Get one of these tools. It's good for cutting PVC pipes and tubes. So here it is, the finished plumbing up to the grow bed. I've added the ball valves for each outlet so I can control the flow exactly to each grow bed. The earlier videos in this series show this drawer slide working so I can have the grow bed above the fish tank yet still access the fish tank. Now I want to talk about something really serious. You're putting a fully powered electrical pump into a tank of water. You need to protect against short circuits. So buy yourself a ground fault circuit interrupter or a GFCI. You have them in your bathrooms for a reason. They are mandatory for this system. If you're going to do an aquaponics system and you're going to have people come over and check out your system, you're going to have kids get interested in it, you absolutely need to have a GFCI. So I plugged in my GFCI to the extension cord and to the power strip, plug in the pump, and voila, water going through the pump. So I have all the water going back to the fish tank, so now I'm going to restrict the flow and send some water up to the grow beds. So that's how I pump from my fish tank up to my grow beds. Surely it's not the only way to do it, probably not even the best way to do it, but it's how I do it. So I hope it's been helpful to you and given you good tips on how to do it yourself. Next up, we're going to do the opposite direction, which is sending water back down to the fish tanks from the grow beds. And I'm actually going to show you how to turn these simple pipes, T-fittings, elbow, and caps, along with some PVC, into a killer siphon. And this is a siphon that I designed. I've never seen anybody else do it, but I played around with the design and I found it to work really well. And it's really fast and really simple to set up. So that's it for Aquaponics NYC Woodstock Edition. Signing out.